Rumah. Istilah ini digunakan untuk kita merujuk kepada struktur atau bangunan di mana kita tinggal. Rumah adalah cerminan peribadi, budaya dan cara hidup seseorang. Setiap ruang, komponen, rupa, bahan dan susunatur satu-satu rumah perlulah direka dan dibina dengan teliti, kukuh dan indah. Bersama saya, Zainal Abidin Gregory, dalam menerokai seni bina rumah-rumah terpilih di bumi Kenyala dalam Sanggar Vista. Pada episod kali ini, kita akan meneroka sebuah daerah yang terletak luar daripada Kuching, Kampung Git yang terletak di Siburan, Sarawak. Kedudukan rumah ini daripada jalan utama adalah agak jauh dan hasilnya persekitaran halaman rumah yang aman dan harmoni dapat diwujudkan. Reka bentuk Boyan Heights yang terletak di Kampung Git ini diinspirasikan oleh lokasi dan visi pemilik mahligai indah ini, iaitu Suri dan Cameroon. Assalamualaikum, Waalaikumsalam, Cameron. It's wonderful to be here on your estate in Kampung Git, Siburan area. And as we look around, it's just this dramatic view of these limestone cliffs in the background. Maybe I'm answering my own question, but why this site? How did you come about this?
We've been looking for actually quite a few years for a site. We were living in Kuching, and we wanted, I've always wanted, I'm a country boy, so I wanted to live out in the bush.
Yes.
And we wanted somewhere where we could really enjoy the natural, beauties and features of Sarawak without being too far from Kuching city itself.
Yes.
And so we looked at a whole range of different areas, but it was very hard to find the right block of land. And finally, one day Suriana called me and said, I think I found it.
Yes.
A place called Git. And I'm going, what?
Get out of here.
And so we came out and we trekked in and walked around the land, and I just walked out and said to her, get it. It ticked every box of what we were looking for.
Yes. Well, from first glance here, it looks like you have really accomplished that. Looking forward to looking further inside. Let's take a walk and see what else we can see. I'm just in awe of this amazing door here. This looks like a motif of the Orangulu, isn't it?
Yes, it's a Orangulu door from Longhouse in Ulu Baram. It's a tree of life motif.
I see. Well, it looks like it must weigh a ton.
It is. It's just brilliant. Over 100 years old, so it's very heavy, the doors. I think each door is nearly 200 kilos.
Oh my goodness. Well, it keeps you secure inside, does it? Cameron, maybe you can open it up for us. We'll step inside. Mari kita masuk. Baik saja kita masuk, nampak struktur ini yang amat gah. Can you tell us a little bit about what this is going?
Okay, well, this wasn't actually part of the original design of the house. The idea was to walk in and see straight out.
Right.
But the feng shui determined that we couldn't really do that, so we had to have something, sort of blocking the flow through the house.
I see.
So this was designed purely for the feng shui.
And have feng shui elements been used throughout the design?
Not in particular, no. This is the only real aspect that required some feng shui elements to be built in.
I see. Cameron, I love the way this house just blends together these very contemporary elements with these beautiful antique works that you've collected here and there. Can you tell us a little bit about this window?
Okay, this is actually from Java. I found this in a town called Gresik, just outside of Surabaya.
Oh,
it's an old window from an old Javanese house.
Yes.
And if you look up here, 1933 is engraved.
Aha.
Up there.
Well, it's getting to be 100 years old, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's gorgeous. And if I were to open it up,
Nothing. White wall.
All right. Well, it's served its time already, hasn't it?
Yep.
We're sitting here at this lovely wooden counter. How do you use this space here?
We don't generally. I eat breakfast at it. Get up in the morning, make my coffee, piece of toast, and sit here and read the paper online. And so this is sort of, as I said, very much a communal thing. So I can sit here and while my wife's preparing food and talk, or when we have people round, some people can sit and talk while we're preparing food. The whole idea of this is just to bring people together and
Yes.
communicate.
Now, this space, despite the open floor plan being a very sort of modern concept, and yet there's something very Sarawakian about the space that we're in here. What are some of the elements you try to bring in?
Okay, again, when we went to build the house, the other part of the brief that I gave the architect was to incorporate as much traditional design elements in as possible. So, the house is basically a longhouse, and if you look at it, sort of it's a one long house. If you actually come out on the veranda here, it's very much sort of design of the bidet style longhouse, with the billik, then the rulai, and then some tunjung further out.
Oh, we're sitting here with the kitchen behind us, and Cameron, maybe you could talk a little bit about the kitchen concept.
Okay, well, we have two kitchens. So like most Malaysian houses, we have a wet kitchen, which is out through that door there. And so that's more open to the elements than this one.
Yeah.
So this is sort of basically the dry kitchen. And again, because we've lived all over the world with incorporated parts, so my years in the Middle East, we have all the tangines, as well as the Asian aspects as well. But so this is a very modern kitchen and more traditional.
That's from North Africa.
Yeah, North Africa.
Yeah.
Yep. It's really functional kitchen. So we have the fridge is actually in those cupboards over there behind us. Great storage. So it's a very functional kitchen and a workspace as well.
Cameron, this is a stunning piece here. The shape of it almost resembles a kris. What are we looking at?
Okay, it's actually part of a traditional East Javanese sailing boat. And, they had the triangular, sails.
Yeah.
And so when they, aren't using the sail, the boom comes down and actually sits in this. So it sits at the back of the boat and holds the boom to the sail. As you'll see all of the boats, so will use this chicken motive as well.
Chicken, is that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, look at that. There's the chicken head. Are you a sailor yourself, Cameron?
I'm a sailor, yeah. I'm actually a certified captain, so...
Well, is that right?
Ruang dalaman rumah disusun atur secara kluster, di mana ruang tamu, bilik tidur dan bilik tetamu dihubungkan melalui koridor secara memanjang.
So this is a part of that longhouse type motif that you were describing, right? Where this would be the ruai, perhaps?
Yeah, exactly.
And then that allows each room off to the side to get some natural
light. And then you see it flows through. Then you've got the outside verandas on each and so.
Oh yes, ventilation. Yeah, that's lovely. Another Javanese piece?
No, that is actually Arabian. It's actually Afghanistan, from Afghanistan, I told you it.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Have you been there?
Not to Afghanistan, no.
Yeah. Might want to put off that.
Yeah, put it on that for a while. Then, of course, the Aboriginal.
Oh, I see. Can you tell more about that? That's an Australian.
That's Australian Aboriginal motif. I believe it's supposed to be the sun, but it's very typical of desert Aboriginal desert painting where they use the spots, the dots.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that the luster of that brown is really just gorgeous.
Yeah, the big
color.
Oh, let's see it.
So we're standing here in one of the bedrooms, and we've managed to create this this house in such a way that every bedroom has its own view out into the forest.
Yep. Yeah, so each bedroom is actually on a different angle, so you're not looking directly into. These two rooms are adjoining, but the other rooms have all got different angles. Mm-hmm. So the bedroom, we have the main part of the bedroom, then we have the attic upstairs. So hopefully when my children get married and have kids, they can bring the kids here and they'll get prepared for it.
Every father's dream, right?
Yeah.
Bring in the grandkids.
And we try to incorporate the jungle as much as possible into everything. So, which it makes it beautiful. Waking up in the morning and the birds and the tupai jumping around the branches, and it's just really quite spectacular. It's you just sort of de-stresses you immediately.
I believe it. And when was this house built? How many years has it been?
About 6 years now.
Just 6 years.
Yeah.
And already the jungle has rebounded. You can not tell that this was disturbed in any way for the building of the house. Did you take that into account when the house was being sited?
We did, yes. And we tried to interfere as little with sort of the natural bush, even to the point that we had to make some modifications on design to avoid cutting down trees that we didn't want to cut down. So we tried to keep as much of the natural bush as possible here and disturb as little as possible.
Oh, it's admirable.
Selain daripada estetika visual yang menarik, suhu di dalam rumah tampak lebih nyaman dan aliran udara terasa amat baik. Ruang ini memanfaatkan perolahan pengudaraan atau stack ventilation, udara panas ke atas, udara sejuk kekal di bawah. Sudah tentu ini semua perlu difahami dengan teliti dalam proses mereka bentuk. Maka saya ingin mendapatkan maklumat lanjut daripada arkitek daripada IDC Architects yang membantu mereka bentuk bangunan ini.
I'm here with Architect Chiwi of IDC Architects, and I just wanted to speak with you a bit about all that went into creating this lovely house that we're sitting in now. One thing I love about this home as I look around is the detailing. There's so much use of natural wood everywhere, but then that comes up against more modern building elements. And so I wonder, what went into making sure that was a sort of seamless union between those natural and more modern materials?
So all these are things that I had to sort of take into consideration when designing the house. So when you ask about how to integrate this modern aspect of the design and the traditional aspect of the design, to me, I have never felt that there is any disconnect between traditional and modern. Okay, I think the modern actually evolved from the traditional. So especially when you look at the planning of the house, it was actually based very much inspired by the longhouse. Yeah. So how we started planning the house is to think about the outdoor, the surrounding, and then how do we transition into the interior of the house. And the longhouse actually gave us a very good example of how that is done in the traditional setting. So you have the tanju, which is the outdoor area. Yeah. And then you have the rai, which is the sort of semi-covered area. Yeah. Then you have the house or the bilik itself, which is the interior part of the house. So that gets you the transition between the outside into the inside of the house.
Yeah, I think any project that you work on for such a long period of time, as any architectural project is, there are challenges that come up and there are things that we learn. I wonder if there was a fork in the road or a difficult moment where a decision had to be made and that you found that it turned out for the best in the end. Could you talk about that?
Well, this project was the biggest challenge is the location.
Yeah.
Because it's in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah.
And as I said, there was no road coming to the site. So how do you even bring the material to the site? So the first thing we had to do was to actually construct the road,
your own road,
and that was a challenge because the site is very, some parts of the site is very steep.
Yeah.
So the contractor actually had to bring in one excavate, sort of like a guy who is experienced in building roads in the jungles.
Yeah.
And that was how it was actually done, And the route has to be based on what's the most practical way to get into the site. So once that's done, that's one of the big challenge that we have accomplished. The other challenge is the slope on the site.
Yeah.
Now building a house on the slope is. Now you don't see it, but when it's under construction, you do see that a structure on the slope is something that is quite a big challenge because you're always worried about the ground giving way. The ground actually collapsing beneath you. So that was one of the big things that we had to work out.
Well, Chewy, I want to thank you very much for taking your time to speak with us here today. It's been a pleasure wandering around this house that you've helped to make happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and really enjoy having this conversation with you.
That's great. So Cameron, if we could just step outside and enjoy this wonderful veranda. Oh, the views out to the limestone cliffs in the distance. I mean, that is priceless. Just stunning.
That was one of the hidden treasures of this place. We didn't realize that those mountains, or we had that view until we actually opened up the land to build the house. And,
I mean, that's amazing. It's almost hard to believe, right? Because that is the $1 million view now. Wow.
Exactly. It is spectacular. And it's really nice things actually, because that's facing west. So east is over here, the sun rises there and sets over here.
Yeah.
And when you get a sunset, it actually reflects the colours off the limestone. So, the limestone will go from pinks to purple and reflecting the sunset light.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the golden pandas over here, which is very common here, you see.
Yes.
But that's also a North Queensland tree that are endemic right through this region.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the blue quandongs, which I have one over there. I've got several around the property, which are also a beautiful big rainforest tree, which produces a lovely little blueberry.
Ooh. Well, it's clear, your love of nature in so many of the details of this home. I think one that would stand out to the first-time visitor is that you've accommodated a tree right there in the middle of your deck. And so what was that tree again?
That's a golden panda.
Golden panda. Oh, okay. And you really get a sense of how high up off the ground we are by looking down. Ooh, way down there. Yeah. So that's, I think, a pervasive feature of the home, right? This being raised up on steps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, it's something that I really insisted on. And it's a feature, I mean, not only here in Sarawak, where you see the traditional Malay houses were all raised, all the long houses are always raised.
Yes.
But even where I come from in Australia and North Queenslander, the traditional Queenslander is all raised off the ground. And there's a reason for that. It allows breeze to flow underneath the house, cooling the house.
Yes.
It keeps you up out of the mosquitoes. We don't get mosquitoes in the house. You go down the jungle, there's plenty of mosquitoes. But here in the house, we just don't get mosquitoes.
Yes.
So it was, you think about it, people living in this part of the world have always had their houses raised off the ground, and there's reasons for it.
So we're here in the front yard. We have this greenhouse here, shade house, I should say, for raising what looks to be a huge collection of orchids. Orchids are a passion of yours?
Orchids are a passion, yes. My wife collects anthuriums and I collect orchids. And we're lucky here because here in Padawan, this area actually has the richest orchid biodiversity of anywhere in Sarawak.
Is that right?
And, just wandering around my garden and, my land, just almost every day I'm finding a new orchid or a different orchid. So it's just spectacular, what we have here.
Do you have a favorite one that you can show to us?
This one actually is really quite spectacular. It's just opening up today. And, it's when this, gets a little bit more mature, you'll actually have big clumps of it and, with, many, many flowers, and it really sort of comes out quite spectacular.
Surya, Cameron, you've been such gracious hosts. We've had a wonderful time exploring your wonderful home. I want to thank you and extend a small token of our appreciation from here at Sanggar Vista.
Thank you very much.
Wishing you all the best in your home here, that now that you've returned to it for sort of a longer stay.
Yep. Now, look, it's been a wonderful pleasure to have you out here and share our home. I mean, we're very happy here, and we're very happy with, when you embark on a project like we embarked on to build something in the middle of the jungle. With all the challenges, it's always a bit of risk factor, and you hope that you've done the right thing. But we certainly did. We have thoroughly enjoyed living out here. There's concerns: are we too far away from Kuching? Are we too isolated? How will we get on with the people from the village? Because we're not Badayu and it's a Badayu village, but all of those things have worked out well. We've loved living here. It's not too far from Kuching.
Every project like this is very much a personal thing. Each project is unique. And yet I think that there's a lot that our viewers can learn from what you've shown us here in terms of design sense and sensibility. And so I want to thank you once again for giving us that chance.
No worries. Thank you.
Jika kita lihat sepanjang perimeter memanjang Boyan Heights ini, terdapat perincian seni bina yang menggalakkan pengudaraan pasif. Take a look at the pool. What an amazing addition to the outdoor space. Saya harap anda menikmati episod ini dan kita akan jumpa lagi minggu hadapan untuk projek menarik yang lain. Terima kasih dan jumpa lagi di dalam episod yang seterusnya. Bye-bye now.